is Tomb Raider 2 80% by Darren K.
Hello everyone, my name is Darren and I'm here with Kayumon and Eidgod. Let's go, Tomb Raider 2. Nonny?
I know, when the loading screen ends, right? Oh, you
Yes.
have to skip cutscene.
Yes. Alright, let's go. So I'm in Great Wall here, which is kind of the hardest level in the game, actually. Let me do a backup strat here. It's very technical. There's so many things you need to do. So yeah, it's a very common like reset level. We also call it the Great Reset because of that. There's so many things that can just mess up your run.
Yeah, the game has a lot of minor movement techniques that you need to be able to execute perfectly at all times to be able to get a good Great Wall. For example, right there, ideally you want to drop into the water in a way that you can get into the tunnel directly. But because he was a little bit off, for example, he missed that. Yeah.
Okay, got that. There was a PlayStation 1 exclusive glitch, actually. Some may ask why I'm running this on PS1 if there's a PC version. The reason being that this is like the earliest build of the game, and it has some glitches or like bugs left in the game. Let me try this one more time. Nice. Usually I have to go for a backup strategy. That doesn't work because there's so many animals around me, pushing me around. But that worked out nicely.
Also important to note that this is the PAL version of the game.
Yes.
There also is an NTSC version, but I think, Darren, you told me that the NTSC version is actually a later version of the game.
Yes, it's a later version of the game that has fixed flare glitches, as we call them. And additionally, it has some geometry changes that mitigate some other like minor skips. But they even add to that. So the PAL version is actually the quickest version of the game on PlayStation. Maybe also in general, like depends on your views on in-game time or RTA. Obviously, the loading times are quite long on PS1, but the flare glitches account for a couple of minutes of time saved alone. So I'm almost done. There's a couple of traps here. Almost done with Great Wall. There's just a couple of more sequences I need to pass here. All this is muscle memory, actually. Like, it is. After so many attempts, I'm running this for 2.5 years now. Great Wall got very consistent for me. So there's a couple of tigers, like 2 tigers that can mess up your run, like with this health. But it's actually funny that tigers are not as strong. Like dogs are stronger in this game than tigers, which is kind of weird.
Yeah, very realistic.
Yeah. But those tigers can also push you if you're lucky and save a couple of frames. But that didn't happen. They were kind of calm.
So this is the level where we get to see the dogs.
Yep, the dogs that are like twice as strong as tigers.
Oh, are you picking up an extra flare here?
Oh god, yep. Due to the extra flare glitches I'm using on this version, I need a couple more flare packs than on the PC version. Okay, this is bad. Not too bad. I got out.
Nice.
So I did something wrong there with my inputs, and like slightly.
Didn't know there was a backup like this for that, if that happens.
Yeah, sometimes she gets stuck for good and you don't get out anymore, so I got lucky there actually. And sometimes you drop out down into the water again and you have to reset the thing.
Yeah.
Oh, running
Very
landing.
nice.
That is so hard to get, actually. Normally, she has a little stumble or like weird animation landing thingy. That costs you a second only, but it's so awesome when you get it. Okay, this CRT is a bit too dark for me. I don't know where I am. Okay, I see it a bit on the left monitor.
Yeah, left monitor is better for that. Oh, but you know the game by heart. You don't even need to see anything.
No, like I don't. I only need to see something for getting out there, and I just need an idea where I am, like left, right, so I can like adjust the jump sequence. There's a jump sequence after that climb out,
okay.
and then I can take another flare pack. A lot of flare packs need to be picked up in this run. So, yeah.
How many flares does a flare pack give you?
6, if I'm not wrong, or 8.
Okay.
I think it's 6. I know the game, guys.
It's definitely less than in Tomb Raider 4, where you get like 15. Well,
Yeah, the first level gives you like 50 or something.
yeah, that's insane.
It's ridiculous. So there's actually a glitch that would skip all this section I'm doing right now, but sadly it actually crashes on hardware, like on a real PS1 or PS2. It just hangs the game, it crashes. And on a PS3 or a PS TV, you can actually skip through the door to the next level.
You mean the quap, right? The water quap?
Yeah, it's called like an underwater quap.
Yeah.
Which yeah, you can just clip through the door. But as I said, on real hardware it crashes. But the good thing is we can listen to this good music instead.
Yeah, so if you had the right, or if it would work on the hardware right here where you
like
finish the
right here.
level, you could like kind of embed into the water and then glitch through the door, essentially.
No, instead what we did was skipping a timer there, wasn't it? Because the door is usually...
Yes, the timer for that door is rather weird. Like it's easy to skip them, and I remember skipping it back in my first playthrough. Actually.
You skip it when you get to that place where you switch where you open the door with the switch. Just by like running over the ramp, you essentially skip the timer, and then if you dive through the gate, it never gets like activated or something.
Yes, the timer for the game. Well, the devs designed the ramp, like designed for you to go in there with a boat and leave the room with the ramp. And by not doing that, I don't know what they thought, but by not doing that, the timer doesn't get initiated and the door stays open. All right, you maybe saw me doing some underwater stuff with the flare again. That skips like 45 seconds compared to the PC version.
I don't think you have like explained the embedding really yet. Like essentially, in Tomb Raider or in the classic Tomb Raiders, if you manage to get into a wall or a corner, and there's like stuff above it, the game always tries to put you on top of it. So that's the way that when he does the underwater flare bugs, that's how he gets on top here.
Also here.
Yeah. And also he did a roll corner bug earlier, where if you roll into a corner, you embed into the corner and then you land on top of it as well.
Exactly. Like the game doesn't know where to put you, and then it just looks for geometry above or below and puts you there. That's the third level done. All right, now a really cool strat that initiates from the start here. Like this is a setup I'm doing from glorious iCore. Shout out to iCore. And like iCore is the reason for like 15 minutes worth of saves in this game in the last couple of years, like months or years. That dude is like finding so many strats. Okay, I need to watch the left monitor again.
So what he's doing here trying to do here right now is if you have a little step in the wall, you can try to like get a step block, which gets you through on top of the wall essentially, and then you get through it there at that specific seam. And the setup that he mentioned earlier, the great thing about Tomb Raider, the classic Tomb Raider games, is that all the controls are kind of essentially like just 1 or 0. You either do it or you don't. So whenever you do one control, it's always the exact same input. So you can do one jump, and the jump is always going to be the same. So you can plan out setups 100% consistently. So when you find a setup to do a really hard trick, it's always going to work.
Exactly. Every input is digital, so
Yeah, digital. That's what I.
yeah. Most like today's games, if you use the analog stick, you can't really like set up anything precisely. At least I'm gonna medipack up here. I kind of jumped at the wrong time, and I didn't know how much that would drain. I was low already, so that's one medipack down. It's not too bad. I calculated in a couple of backup medipacks, so I should be fine. That's Opera House done.
Yeah, speaking of like calculated medipacks and stuff, usually throughout the whole run, all the pickups, including flare, medkits, weapons, ammo, is all planned out as like tightly as possible so that you don't waste anything. But for a marathon run, of course, you like tend to pick up 1 or 2 more extra medkits just to make sure in case you take damage somewhere. Because if you run out of equipment at some point, well, you can't really go back. So
Yep.
you want to make sure you have stuff.
And using medipacks on a PlayStation 1 version is even, let's say, more hurtful in a speedrunning wise, as you need to go into the menu to use them. The PC version has some hotkeys for them ready, so you don't need to go into the menu and it's instantly used.
Yeah, in the PlayStation version, you have to go to the menu for everything, right?
Yes.
Switching weapons, using medkits, yeah. Well, on the PC, you have hotkeys for everything of that, so that's very nice for us.
Exactly.
Also, the in-game timer is still running if you go in the menu, right?
Yes,
So
the inventory doesn't stop the in-game timer. Like there's also a timer, like I don't know how you call it in English, like a stop clock.
yeah, stopwatch.
Stopwatch, yeah. And you can check the in-game time there, and it keeps going. So here I'm like that jump I just did on the plane is not intentional, but you can easily make it if you know what angle you take it with.
I think there are some invisible walls and stuff which would...
Like right here, one of these guys has a keycard that he needs, and the other guy drops a big medkit. And the goal is to kill them so that the 2 drops
I'm gonna try it.
drop next to each other, because then he picks them
Yes.
both up at the same time, exactly.
Very nice.
And saves the second pickup animation, which is pretty slow. So it's really worth it.
Exactly. Like the first guy takes 10 shots, the second guy 14, so I had to count there, I had to concentrate. Just gonna save here because there's a setup and I don't want to mess it up.
Yeah, now he's gonna do a quap setup that's similar to the trick that we mentioned on the Venice level, where he will be embedding into the ground and slide through the ground and then get through the door. And the reason why he saved on that switch is because that's where the setup starts. You're always guaranteed to be in the same position.
Exactly.
So if you do the same inputs, you will always get the same result. And now he's embedding into the ground by jumping. And there's a door to the left here where he can get through the moment this quap state ends. And now he's through.
Yes. That is a skip that was like looked forward to so long. Like people said it was possible if people found a quap like that, like the weird state you just saw, where she's like, embedded into the ground. She's actually falling. She's in a falling state. Like I primed the quap with some corner and some steps, and there she's in some falling state, but not really, kind of. And then you can start to think for real in specific places. There's gonna be more of those quap glitches, as we call them. You might wonder why it's called quap.
The
There's-
browser mini game.
Yeah, it was like a browser game back 10 years ago or so, where you had to move a character with like the keys Q, U, O, P.
QWOP.
QWOP, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And when you try to control the character, it looks exactly like Lara sliding through the floor. So that's we weren't very creative, but
It's the best name you can imagine for it. It's really fitting in my opinion.
Do we have time for some donations?
Yes.
Alright, we have actually quite a few donations. Some of them are a little bit older. So we have a $5 donation by Anonymous saying Absolute Mint. We have another $10 donation by Anonymous saying Do it for the dab. We have a $15 donation by Noodlebox saying Oh no, I made another donation. Oh yes, you did another donation. And we then have another $5 donation by Anonymous saying, Can I have a dab?
not from me.
Me neither.
There you go.
There we have it.
So the ladder there that Darren essentially skipped is a really long ladder, but by embedding into the corner on the right side, you can just teleport on top of that. And if I remember correctly, you get back to the ladder one more time.
Not on.
Oh,
the
not in this
PlayStation
route
one.
anymore.
Yeah,
Okay.
on the PC version you would,
Okay.
but I can go right up to the slot. So
Oh yeah. Okay. The insane PS only bugs.
I had to do like I'm getting the flare in position here with pausing, but I was like just one frame off, and there's only 2 frames that work in that roll animation. So what I just did with the inventory was what I call and what I found a single frame advance, which is not as easily possible on PS1. Like frame advancing is not possible, and like not possible in the same way as on PC. One sec.
So right there, he did another jump to set up the quap. Then he did the jump here to start the quap, and then he's sliding against the door to like buffer the quap time to be able to get to this door right at the time when the quap is going to end, so he gets through it. And now he's going back to the same spot, going to do the same setup again to start another quap state, and then do that for one more door. And then he skips like a pretty huge section here.
Also, thanks to iCore for this setup. Again, there's going to be a couple more iCore mentions because that guy found so many tricks for running this. There was another setup previously, but that took way longer.
And that's
I
the
got the
other
bump
door.
out. Yes, so this was usually a very long level, like 6+ minutes, if I remember correctly. And it got reduced to a bit more than 3 minutes or so in a run. There's hardly any like long levels anymore, actually.
The longest level also got recently
Yeah.
broken.
We're gonna talk about that. And here's the meme like section.
Yeah, get ready for the insane dialogues.
Okay, Marco time.
Come on, stick to your stomach. Tell me, where in monastery should we look? Brother.
So those guys are still talking. Like it's like those guys that are talking.
In case you were wondering, that's an Italian accent apparently.
Apparently.
just so you know.
So now we
Where
go
in the
underwater.
monastery shall we look, brother?
So now we are underwater, and there's this swimming section. That would be a good time for donations if there are any, but yeah.
We do not have any new donations currently, but I want to take this chance to make aware of some incentives we have. For example, for the ukulele any percent run, we can have an additional toy box 100% run This incentive is currently at 10 out of $150. So if you want to see that additional toy box 100% run, which I highly recommend, get your donations in for that.
What I find very funny about the swimming section here actually is that there's a cutscene before you start this level where Lara already spends like 2 minutes underwater, and after that you gain control and her air meter is like full, so you have another 2 minutes to spare underwater.
Yeah, it's-
Lara has like an insane lung capacity in this
Yeah.
game.
Well, you probably know why, right? It's not too bad. I'm getting another medic pack, but I just screwed up some iCore setup.
Yeah, the goal is to like hit the wall there at a certain angle to
But
be
the guy
able
up
to get to the top of that ledge there,
Okay,
like
that
this.
works.
Nice.
Okay, I got a medic pack, but I gotta use a medic pack because that took so much health from me.
Now this part you're supposed to like turn off the flames by doing some stuff, but conveniently enough you can just put yourself on fire, pull the switch, and then there's water right afterwards. So you only like lose medkits really if you do this.
Yes.
Also Lara the Human Torch is back. Nice.
Also another one of these flare glitches that are exclusive to this version. Easy. Skips like half a minute of simming down and up again.
Now you might be wondering how someone even finds this geometry stuff. Well, luckily there's tools these days where you can look at all the level files and know exactly where you could possibly be abusing something like that. So you just look at all the geometry, look, okay, there's stuff here that if you get there, you can go there, and then you find that stuff.
Yes, there's actually a like very large, how to say, like modding community more or less. Talking about Tomb Raider level editor. So back in the day when it was released, like people released handy tools that exactly show how the game is like built, like level-wise. Like you can look into level files and check them out, get the textures, get the geometry, and we are using those tools to check how the rooms of this game are connected into each other and so on.
Including all the triggers and everything.
Yes, it shows you everything. Like it shows you where the triggers for the enemies are or something. To be careful. This is some. Ooh, that was close. But I should be fine after this. And that is the absolute troll. Okay, I would have died anyway. Okay, I'm saving here for a reason. The reason being, I can kind of soft lock the game if I miss time the next flare glitch. So I would have to reload the level. I hope it doesn't happen though.
You know, I gotta say, I really like these PlayStation loading screens. I've never seen any of these because I've never played the PlayStation version.
Yeah, like
But they're actually pretty good artwork.
they are. They are completely absent from the PC version, which I don't know why. They only added like loading screens from Tomb Raider 3 onwards for PC. But yeah, they are really good artwork, as you said. Like I totally agree. So here's the spot. I mean, I don't know exactly where the flare is. I need to go by muscle memory, and sometimes if it's in the wrong spot, she gets like into some black space. We call it the void. I need another single frame advance here. There was again one frame off. You see those flare glitches are so consistent. Back when I started this game, I had to come up with half of the game because the mechanics were like completely different from the PC version that people ran back in the day, and flare glitches were also like PS1 exclusive, and no one ran PS1 because reasons. Yeah, I had to come up with a lot, and those strats back in the day were like not consistent. But I got like I got those strats improved over time by a lot. And here, there's a setup starting right now, actually. You might not notice it, but I'm trying not to turn at all because I need the forward direction to initiate a setup, which I'm doing here. Okay, it should have worked, and if you saw something like that before, you know that there's another co-op incoming.
Yeah, like these intricate setups are always the point of them is trying to create a jump where you can get that quap state, and that quap window is so tight that you can only get them in very certain spots with an exact setup, so you can't just wing it.
I need to check on my health here. Okay, I'm gonna take one. I'm in the shark tank right now, and one shark bite takes like 40% of your health bar, and I was like at 15, 20 or so. And also, by the way, this co-op I just did is only a strat in the PlayStation 1 version, because like I did a trapdoor skip just there with the co-op, which you need to open, which takes like 45 seconds or what. And only on the PS1 you can get out easily or at all. Like, I don't know if it's somehow possible on PC, might be, but setup-wise, it's even if it works, there would be probably no setup for it. And yeah, skips like 45 seconds, as I said, but I'm also skipping a flare pack, which I need a lot of in this run, meaning you have to reduce that amount by a little, by the amount I had to kill that one guy a couple levels ago at the start of diving area. So here I'm grabbing the M16, which is the only no, there's also the grenade launcher, but which is the gun I'm gonna use the most. I'm also like doing some inventory optimization with that. Like I skipped a couple of guns. I'm skipping a couple of guns, like the automatics and the Uzis. I'm not gonna pick up because they kind of waste space in the inventory, and they end up wasting time because I need to menu over them kinda, and each menu entry or inventory entry adds like 0.5 seconds if I need to scroll through that. Okay, living quarters. I love this level. Not really. This one is another level that's so technical, but this level just goes wrong kind of every time. There's so many precise strats that most of the time just don't work out. Let's see. So far, so good. So there's a roll corner bug, for example, that sometimes for weird reasons fails. Let me set this up. Nah, only just, okay. That heartbeat sound used to scare the bejesus out of me back in the day as a kid.
Wait, that is actually coming from the game?
Yes.
I thought it was my heart which I'm hearing.
Okay. No, it's actually from the game.
Yeah, like the headset isolates so much.
Yeah,
I think
it
I'm
does.
hearing my
I'm also not used to using a headset. I usually have in-ears when I stream or like I'm at the PC at all. So a bit different from what I'm used to. So another iCore strat is this handy thing here. Hopefully it works. Nice.
Yeah, it's just another setup. Getting out of the pool there, you can always be in the exact same spot, and then you just do the same movement to get that angle on the jump.
Exactly. Everything is like preset. So here I need to jump around the corner. Worked. Nice. And that's one of these many things that can go wrong in this level.
And here he's going to do the same trick that he did pretty much at the start of the Great Wall. If you hit the top of this ledge at a good spot and then press action at the right time, you can just grab and climb up instantly instead of sliding down like you're supposed to. So he did a little setup there to make a jump that he can always grab. Because if you do it just by reaction, it's kind of a frame-perfect trick and it's super hard. But with the setup, it's always consistent.
That's
and
way too
here
early.
is a jump. That's kind of hard to wing it, yeah.
Almost.
But you
I'm
can
gonna
also do a
medic it.
setup for it, and then it's pretty doable. And it skips filling the pool with water, I think, if I remember correctly.
Yes, usually you need to do like 1 or 2 minutes of stuff
Yeah.
to fill this pool with water and get through that door. But you can make this jump like only just. Let's see if I get it now. Ah,
And like right at the end of this jump is the end of the level.
yes.
Yeah, this jump is pretty precise. I believe on PC you could like use a pause buffering or like a setup you could do. But since we don't really have pause buffering, very nice. You have to like kind of do it without buffering on the PS1 version.
Exactly. Like there's also a thing. The later you grab, the more distance you can get. Like you can't just start grabbing like very early. Like you're not gonna get as far, or that like the grab animation is gonna stop. Get up. So yeah.
So in this level, you're like usually supposed to somehow climb on top, all the way on top of the ship, but we can use these like this grabbing glitch again and all kinds of other neat jumps to climb there without, in a way where we shouldn't be supposed to. And I think you also do a co-op here, or do you do something else?
I'm doing PS1 stuff.
Okay.
Oh,
I
almost
Don't
got it.
know all
Nice
of
try.
those ones.
Actually, in practice, I got this for the first time in a run. That I got the flying corner bug here.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
crazy.
Usually takes like 20 attempts or so to get it. Okay.
Yeah, he does another PS flare. And at the top of this, there's a key that you want to be able to finish this level.
Yes.
Exactly.
Nice.
Like, usually you have to do all kinds of stuff to get up here if
Yeah,
you
this
don't
is
use any glitches.
crazy level to do casually. Not as crazy as the one in like the in 2 levels. But yeah. And also, like we didn't talk about flare cancels. Like we talked a lot about flare glitches, but not about why I'm using the flares when I'm dropping. So usually she would land into a stumble when she falls from too high, and by using like throwing away the flare, she is like that throw animation is overriding the stumble animation, and you can just run off, and it's like saving 2 seconds. So if you use all the 6 flares of a flare pack for flare cancels, it's gonna save you 12 seconds in theory. So you only need to pick up like 1 flare pack for 2 seconds or so, but you can save 12 afterwards. In theory, but most flares in this category on this platform go to waste for strats actually, and I can't use that many for stumbles. So for some stumbles, I'm doing like something different, or like just not doing any cancellation at all, which I have to take. And now there's a risky level here.
Yeah, it's just skipping a trigger by jumping through the corner.
Oh yeah, that corner jump.
A lot of times certain triggers are just one of these blocks, and the game is obviously built out of these blocks. So if you jump through a corner, you go around the block and then just skip it completely, and it never activates.
Yeah, it would have spawned two birds, which don't really. I should maybe boost. Which don't really do any damage, but there's a case like some glitchy state enemies get into if there's too many enemies on the level, and it can end up in like an instant health drain that takes like half your health bar in like a couple of frames. So by not spawning them at all, or like not needing to kill them, it's like the enemy count is not as high, and it's not gonna happen then. And yeah, good 90s techno music.
Yeah, the famous.
It's by
snowmobile.
far the best song in the game. This one and the Venice violins.
Yes, those are like iconic music tracks, in my opinion. So I'm gonna save here. I'm gonna do a couple of saves in this level because anything can go wrong here.
Yeah, in general, this game, this level can be quite tricky because the snowmobile is, well, first of all, it's not that easy to control, and there's a lot of spaces where you can just drop down, jump too far and die. Like, there's a lot of options. So he needs to be a bit careful here. Like,
that
for
guy.
example, here, if he goes a bit too fast and drops down there, it would explode. Like, it's really easy to die with this.
Yes, like you can't even touch any of these edges or so. She's instantly, yeah, you'll drop down into the valley of death.
Also, here I believe you parked the snowmobile in a very specific spot, didn't you?
Yes, I'm gonna come back to that snowmobile in just a bit. I'm gonna do a second save here.
Ah, same. Yeah.
So there's a key in the ice, like trapped in the ice there, and there was like an explosion apparently. That explosion triggered some snowballs, some huge ones, and those cracked open the ice, and I need to pick up that key, and then like on that key square, like it's gonna trigger a guy on a snowmobile that's tricky to handle. So I need to go quickly into this one. No, he's doing something not good. Usually if I park it in that direction on this version, he goes around the place and not directly towards me. But it wasn't too bad. It usually screws up quite a bit of what you want to do, or where you want to get. Like, and it costs a lot of health if he shoots you. And we're gonna kill one of these in a bit because we need to change the snowmobile. Actually, we can't go with this thing to the end of the level. There's like, well, okay, you can, but there's no setup for it. Like in theory you can, but it's way too hard.
So this is another jump where you can easily die. That's why he was so careful there.
Yes, that jumping back there is sometimes tricky. You need to angle up precisely, somewhat, because else, like, if you hit some geometry slightly, you're done for. You're gonna die. I should have maybe saved there actually, but I did it, so. So that's fine.
Risked it for the biscuit.
All right, so there's actually no way to get into this hut without a key, like no known way. Doors in this game are actually very, very tight. Like, we talked about rooms before. They actually block off the room transition into this thing. And if there's no transition, you're not gonna make it in this room. Like, it's kind of impossible. Like, people may think who know the engine, who don't know the engine, that it should be possible somehow, looking at all glitches, but the way the level is like designed, it's kind of impossible.
Do we have time for more donations?
Yes.
Alright, we have a $10 donation by Smooth Operative saying, "Hey Darren, super proud of you running this game for SpeedCon. You're killing it. Lots of love, buddy. Whoop whoop, yeehaw."
Yeehaw!
Not like this.
We have another
Party partner.
$10 donation by Petra with no comment. It is nonetheless appreciated. And we have a $3 anonymous donation with the comment, "New donation." I also want to take this opportunity to remind of some incentives we have. For example, the Deponia 2 incentive to upgrade the category to any %, no puzzle skips. It is currently at 28 of $200 and the run is starting in about an hour, so if you want to see the category upgrade, get your donations in now.
Thank you guys for all those donations. Very nice.
Very generous.
So here, Darren parks the snowmobile on the right side of this block and then drags it. And now he can enter it, which teleports on top. And because of the top part there is not, it doesn't have a collision, you can just skip through there with your snowmobile.
Yes, and I killed those two guys that were waiting there because I'm kind of low health. But you can still die in the water because there's still one guy left on another cliff. And some runs died in the water there actually because I was I was like risky on the medipacks. So I think I saved there, right? I hope I did.
I'm not sure.
I didn't pay attention.
I'm gonna
either,
save
sorry.
again.
Yeah, for safety.
Because there's a reason I'm saving. In this level is this level can crash sometimes, and that would be bad. I can't reset the level if the console crashes. So
this level I think used to be the longest one before
Yes.
the dupe was found
by far,
that Darren will be using towards the end of this level. Essentially, in this level, you're supposed to collect prayer wheels. I think 6 of them.
5.
5, close enough. But we found a dupe to use one prayer wheel 5 times. So now you only need to collect one prayer wheel and then go to the end where you need to use them. So imagine this level just... It would be a lot longer.
Yes. And who found that strat? Do you
Did
know?
you?
No.
No? I don't remember.
iCore.
iCore.
Idecore, okay.
Yes. Who else? He found so much stuff. Like, okay, there was this boulder skip. Like, I could also skip the trigger for that boulder, but it takes a bit longer, and I don't have a flare. God damn it! I wasted one more in the deck. But usually, like, there's a couple of spots where you can glitch flares. You can light up a flare, but it doesn't cost you one. You can do that with underwater pickups and ladders, and I think that's all. So those are for free. You don't use one out of the inventory, as I said.
So this is the prayer wheel. It's the easiest to get because it's like right there. You don't really need to do anything for it.
Gonna save here again.
And also earlier, Darren like went through the corner of a block. He will be doing the same thing on the way back, which really shows you like the geometry of this game. Like, in the corners of blocks are really not that solid, so you can just jump through these kind of things here,
Yes, here.
as long as you aim roughly a 45-degree angle. You gotta be careful though. If you have a bit of a wrong angle, you can actually void into the corner, and then you never get out again.
So I skipped the ladder back up, the same way like in diving area. Ladders are, yeah, I don't know what they are for even in this game. You can skip them very easily if you know how.
And here is another setup. With the grab, he's making sure he's in the exact same position, and then just a couple jumps and steps. And then he does a dive bug. He lands on the corner and on the wall and on the ground at the same time with the diving animation, which just overrides the fall damage. So usually you're supposed to die from the fall damage there, but you don't because you hit it at the same time while doing a dive. And here's the prayer wheels.
Yeah. So I'm gonna use one normally here out of like pressing action and just using it. And this is so simple, but it took 20 years to be discovered. If you go into the menu and use the Seraph I picked up in the deck manually out of the menu, it just works.
It just works.
Yeah. You just kind of like, the thing is in a glitchy state, you can see it's supposed to be turning the Seraph, but for some reason this, as the single prayer wheel I had disappeared, that thing in the menu took some properties of the prayer wheel, and you can use it like manually for the rest of the prayer wheels, which you otherwise would have had to pick up. And that's 10 minutes saved right there. Like,
Yeah.
with that little skip, that's so easy if you think about it. Like, but no one in the right mind would do it. Yeah. Was only discovered like a bit more than a year ago, if I remember correctly.
And the level really used to be so much longer and so much harder because there were so many things yet that you could like easily screw up, really hard jumps and stuff. And now you just do that. That's a Yeti, by the way.
Yeah. I think he didn't touch me, which is very uncommon. That guy single-handedly, like, ripped one of my recent runs. Actually, that was kind of bad. So the health situation in this level is kind of good right now, as it's rather tough. There's a couple of Uzi guys and shooters, like one Uzi guy and one shooter. Gonna drain me usually, like sometimes not, but most of the time they do.
Darren, are
Yes.
we there, Yeti?
Oh, not like this. So yeah, that's the train I mean. I didn't sign up for this, man.
Sorry.
I have one more donation.
Yes.
It is a $3 donation by Anonymous saying, "I'm donating because God is beautiful."
God, I hope that was the right square. I'm gonna find out. Okay. Health is also alright. I did need to use a medipack here, which is very common actually. I got really lucky here. So, we're getting close to the last few levels actually. This is Ice Palace. I'm gonna let me just do a medipack check. 1, 2. I'm kind of low with medipacks, like 40 fathoms, the first underwater level.
Yeah, Ice Palace introduces these jumping pads on the ground there. If you walk on them, they just like throw you up. And if you set up here and like angle the jump pad in the right way, you can just embed into the wall and mid-flight and then just get up there.
Just get up there, exactly. Here's another flare pack I need, and yeah, about the medipacks, I used way too many, like here and there, like 40 fathoms, I had to use way more than usually. So, medipack situation is a bit tight right now, but it's gonna be fine, I think.
Now, there, you might
Yeah.
wonder why he didn't pick it up, but the trigger is just the block itself. You don't really need the item, you just get on the block and you trigger whatever you need to trigger. I don't actually know for sure anymore, but...
Yeah, the trigger is
yeah.
actually on the block, and it's not the item pickup that you do.
Exactly.
because you would have to use it here, but you can just
Yeah, you can do the jump,
just
exactly.
jump out. So the mask isn't really needed, only for casuals. And the same applies actually to the next pickup here. Like the gong hammer is actually also not a trigger. It's a square, and you can even pick it up in a weird way that you miss the trigger, which is there to open a door, and that would be weird. But I made sure that that doesn't happen.
More Yetis.
Yetis, a lot of them. So get out of here. If you do like some mistakes in these jumps, I could have a bad time if that happens.
Yeah, the problem with like big enemies like Yetis, when they run into you, they push your character at the same time. So they screw up your movement, and if you try to do jumps, like in certain spots, they might push you too far and you bump into walls and you don't make it, and they can cost you a lot of health like that.
So here I'm also doing some PS1 exclusive. I glitched the flare there. Ah, that was the wrong time. I need to do the pickup of shame now. For some reason, flare pickup animations are so slow, which means it takes so long to redo the thing. So that probably didn't save any time. Like you can just climb up, but it's a couple of seconds quicker to go all the way down and flare glitch back up, which yeah, usually works out. But I wasn't used to the frame from the side, so I thought it was the right frame, but it wasn't. So there's a like how do you call like a boss coming up here?
Yeah, I don't know what it's called.
I don't know.
Giant Yeti.
It's like a birch thing or something.
Oh, yeah.
Big bird,
Something
something. But yeah, you can just kill him from here, and he doesn't do anything. Whoop whoop, yeehaw!
Yeah, and because the boss is already dead, the end of the level is already triggered, so if you die, it doesn't matter.
Guardian of the Italian, Tippy says.
Thank you, Tippy.
So now we're pretty much back at the very beginning of the game again, kinda. It's
Yes.
the same location.
And this is the last level that was really long, but the setup that Darren is doing right now allows us to embed into the corner here and then fall a couple times to skip the level, hopefully.
Yeah, like the end of level trigger is actually in the next room, at the top of the next room. But there was like, for 21 years there was no way to get there. And someone called, like a runner called Tates Gaming, actually did some research and looked for ways to get this glitch done here. And well, basically skipped like 3 minutes of the level of doing this. And it's a very hard level with a lot of traps and so on.
So right now, Lara, like he embedded into the corner, and Lara is just falling from the top of the screen to the bottom and on again until she's in the right position, and then there's some more inputs required. That's why he's saving right now.
Yeah, I need to do something sophisticated. Like I can't even explain what I'm doing exactly.
It's really weird to watch.
Yeah. All you see is blackness right now, but now I need to do like press down and then up on the next frame for a couple times. That's 3, 4, 5. I'm gonna do 7 just for good measure because sometimes they don't work. I would only need to do 5. Okay, so I should be at the next block now. Now I need to see a visible frame of hers. That looks good. And do it another time. Come on. It takes some time. So also pausing is PS1 exclusive. The PC version doesn't have a pause feature. They use inventory buffers for a couple of these, like not for this in particular, but for the down-up thing. So another one of the down-up. And I'm gonna do 2 of these for good measure. Now I need to get another frame of hers. I have a 60-minute long video talking about this glitch actually, like with visuals. So these couple of minutes I have right now are not enough to cover what's happening.
If you wanna get all the deep knowledge on this, just Google Xian skip, I guess.
Xian skip explanation on my channel, like on YouTube.
Yeah. And then you can get all the information you want about this. It's would be too much to explain right now.
So I should be through now. Please, yes.
And yeah, now he's all the way at the top, and down this slope here is the end of the level.
Yes.
That was pretty crazy.
And it skipped the whole level, which is really long.
It is like casually, it's like the most crazy level there is, in my opinion. Well, okay, just the level coming up is just as crazy. I think, even though I think Xian is still like the crazy level, but yeah, you're gonna like casually take an hour or more for that level, and speedrunning wise, it was like 4 or 5 minutes, more like 5 minutes, and now it's only 2 minutes or less, like now. And kind of with the same discovery for the last level, for doing the skip in the previous level. There's also another like glitch found here, which kind of works the same with the same mechanics, calling like a void travel. Okay, here I'm doing a setup from the slope, which sets me up, and then this. And this one's also found by Tails Gaming, obviously, as he found this like void stuff a couple of weeks ago. Okay. So I don't know. Oh, I have flares. Okay. So I need to do this for 12 seconds. I need a timer, so I'm doing this until 56. Yeah. 56 and 13, 57 and 13. No, and 3. Can calculate. Okay. And that's the floating iron skip I'm using. It just worked out.
Yeah, there's depending on what version, there's a lot of ways to skip what he just skipped. There's ways to like do intricate jumps around to the left-ish. There's ways to do a quap around it, or this void travel.
Yes, like floating iron has so many different strats that can work.
Depending on what version you prefer to play on.
Yes.
And now this is like the final boss in a way. So it's a really short level.
It's a short level, but it's kind of dangerous, I'm gonna say. Like,
yeah, in the next room there's one item you need to pick up to open the door to get to the boss, and there's a lot of enemies. So you only want to kill that guy that drops the item, which is the guy to the left here in a second.
Yes, on the last pillar on the left, like this guy.
Here. And then he wants to pick up the item without killing anyone else. So he needs to do an extra like round to like avoid some damage, pick up the item, and then hopefully Darren has enough medkits to get through
Yes,
this.
you just have to like tank through now, and I got enough medipacks. 4 should be enough.
Yeah, like he's gonna open this door as well while still getting attacked. But it looks pretty good. Yeah, so he needs to pause there because it's a lot of damage at the same time.
That was our value medipack. Okay, we got through the tricky part.
And here's the big dragon.
The big dragger. And I'm gonna one cycle this guy, watch.
And because, I don't know, the AI is not too smart, you can just do a little setup there and stand in a certain spot. The dragon just doesn't move and you can shoot him with the grenade launcher. And he doesn't do anything at all. And then, yeah, you win.
Yeah, 10 grenades is all it takes. and the boss is done. Give me that
looked
thing.
too
And he's
easy.
running into the boss there with the pistols because at a certain point you can draw out the dagger with control, but if you're already pressing shooting on the pistols, it's the same button, so it just does it instantly, and
Yeah,
you
and
can't
she
miss it.
Casually has a gun in her left hand now. It kind of glitches out her model.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
And now it's home sweet home.
we have the dagger now, and the guys from the bad guys are kind of mad because she took the dagger, and they're invading her home just about now.
Yeah. It's
And
like you're
as soon
chilling
as-
in your bed with your dagger, and then your alarm bell
And then
rings.
suddenly, people. Oops. Ah, that's bad. I hope it doesn't screw up much.
And yeah, in this
taking time here actually can screw up the enemy AI, enemy positioning. But yeah,
So yeah, this is Lara's like weapon chamber, which has like a shit ton of shotgun ammo, a shotgun, and some medkits and flares. And, yeah, now we're gonna shoot all these enemies with the shotgun.
the UK man.
Because how dare they disturb our sleep?
Not like this. Okay, I made it through. Oh,
Now the problem with this is, I think it's 13 or 14 enemies, including dogs, and they all run around her mansion in weird ways sometimes. If you're not like
yeah, I don't see the
super
dog
fast.
already. Oh, there he is. Okay,
um,
I'm fine.
sometimes towards the end of this, when he killed most of the enemies, you gotta search for like the one last guy before the boss actually spawns,
Yes,
which can be a bit annoying in a speedrun, of course.
I'm counting enemy kills right now. Like I got one on the balcony and 4 down here, so that's 5, and there's 15 of them.
15, okay.
What is this guy doing here? I've never seen a shooter guy here. Okay, that's 6. And PS1 spawns are way better than, or like movements are way better than PC. Like this game, like this level is usually a dream on PS1. So did I lose count? So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm always losing count, by the way, in this level.
I'm sorry, I didn't count either.
Whatever, I think it's fine. Like, should be 2 more shooter guys or so.
And yeah, once all those enemies are dead, there will be one guy spawning with
I hope
double
there was
wielding shotguns.
Yes, this is a final boss, kinda.
And
though
when
it's-
he's dead, there's another cutscene, and at the end of the cutscene, it's time.
Yes.
Getting ready for it already.
You can do some quick shoot here, but it's way too hard to do on console with this controller. Anyway,
So yeah, that's the last boss, but the time is not quite yet.
yes, get ready on time.
Don't you think you've seen enough?
And time. I think there was a single segment run as well.
Yeah, it was.
Very nice.
I didn't have to load.
Was a good run.
Very good, yeah.
Actually, 1-3, wow.
Yeah.
That's way better than my practice runs, actually. They ended up at 1-5.
There were only like a couple small mistakes with some of the flare stuffs. Really.
Yeah. It was really only minor stuff and a lot of saving for like not screwing it up.
For safety reasons.
For safety reasons. Makes sense. So, we have a little more time. Like, can I do some, like, still behind? Can I, like, just a minute? Okay, all right. So after the credits, I would just do a quick run through the assault course, which is also like neat.
Oh yeah.
Neat thing to do. Like in her home level, you can do an assault course to like. It's basically the tutorial of the game, but there's also a timer running, and you can compete with others, like,
Yeah.
and that's also like a thing on the leaderboards, I think, like at the assault course time. But yeah, I'm kind of interested in the in-game time here that shows up. It's one of these games that shows the in-game time at the end, like with all the stats. Today's games don't do that. But yeah, it's a 56:45 in-game time, which is quite good. Like, it's only 3 minutes behind my PB. That's amazing.
Even sub 1 hour, that's crazy.
So
let's go to the assault course.
assault course time.
Yeah, I guess most people know the assault course because whenever you start this game and you see Lara's home, that's what everyone tries out first,
Yes.
I suppose.
It has a lot to like discover and so on.
Welcome back.
So
After
that's the
that
assault
brilliant
course.
business last year, I decided to build this assault course to hone my skills and learn some new ones.
And if you paid close attention in Home Sweet Home, of course, you saw him running past us in the middle of the night.
Yes, it's the same level, kinda. So, of course, I'm doing this glitched.
Nice.
Let's see. There's a way that you can
Grab the top, yeah.
grab the top, but the timing is so precise. I'm not getting it most of the time. And I'm not really an assault course runner. I don't know.
And like Darren said, this is essentially to teach you all the mechanics, like the small jumps, the big jumps,
Yeah, like
diving,
swimming,
zip
climbing.
lines, everything, yeah.
Glitching through corners. Oh no!
Okay, Darren left the track there, so if you...
Okay, I'm not gonna reset
Yeah.
it. I'm just gonna.
It's basically the end anyways.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
do the trick, yeah.
Who cares about the time anyway?
If you leave the course to the left or to the right, the timer just stops and you have to like start again.
Yes. So you can clip up here, and then you get onto the zip line.
And then it's over anyways.
Yes. Too bad.
Now, normally she would say something like, "This is my best time yet," but you know, didn't get a time.
Feel free to explore the rest
All
of
right.
the house and gardens.
All right. There's only one thing left to do, which is we need to kill her. Like I'm not ending a good run like this without killing Lara. So let's go to the roof and kill Lara. So that's it. Thanks for having me. Shout out to everyone I know, colleagues, friends, basically everyone, haters as well. So yeah, thanks.
Bye.